Hello and welcome to the Friday Film Show. I'm your host David O'Sullivan and this is my weekly movie show in which I cover everything that's going on in the world of movies, or at least the movies that most interest me. Well, with that being said, let's get straight into this. And first up, I have opening this week, and the films that are opening today, at least here in the UK anyway, are Free Fire, Ghost in the Shell and Smurfs: The Lost Village. Okay, so out of these three films, I'm obviously most excited for Free Fire and Ghost in the Shell, both of which I've actually seen. I've got a Free Fire review currently up on my channel, so if you want to know my kind of in-depth thoughts on that film, then be sure to check out my Free Fire review. You'll be able to see it on my channel, maybe I'll put a link in the description below. I haven't got around to reviewing Ghost in the Shell yet, however I did actually really like Ghost in the Shell. Smurfs: The Lost Village, I'm probably going to give that a miss, to be honest with you. I don't have any kind of personal hatred towards the Smurf movies. I've never actually seen either of the two previous films in their entirety. They don't look that great. Apparently they're not supposed to be that good, but you know, it's probably going to be pretty just decent, fine entertainment fun for kids, like a Trolls kind of thing. Another film I didn't see, but yeah, I'm not really that overly interested in Smurfs: The Lost Village. I'm probably not going to bother checking that out. That's also kind of just been released today. And Ghost in the Shell, though, I did actually really like Ghost in the Shell, and that's an interesting one because it seems to be dividing a lot of people. Some fans of the original anime film are really liking this new film, like Chris Stuckman, for instance, and then there's some die-hard fans of the original which are really not liking this new film. So it seems to be dividing a lot of people, and I don't have any kind of personal connection to the property. I'm not overly familiar with the source material. I never saw the original anime film, although I really want to go and check it out now, and I probably will. But I actually really like Ghost in the Shell, and what I liked most about it was that it wasn't just your stereotypical cliche by the numbers American action movie, and that's what I thought it might have been. I was worried they were going to really kind of Hollywoodize it and it would just seem like a cliche by the numbers American action movie, but it didn't really feel like that. It felt foreign still. It still felt like a Japanese film almost, even though it's an American movie. You've got an American actress in the lead that role there with Scarlett Johansson, and obviously the whitewashing thing, I'm not going to touch on that, but I actually liked the film. I don't think it was amazing. I don't think it was like absolutely spectacular. It didn't blow me away, but I thought it was a great film and I did really enjoy it. So I'll probably get more in depth on my thoughts on Ghost in the Shell. I'll probably get around to doing a review maybe Monday, I'm not sure, but I do want to go more in depth on that film because I've got some opinions on it and I did actually end up liking the movie. And next up we've got the box office rundown here, and I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the top 10 films in the UK box office right now, and I thought it'd be kind of interesting to see how it compares or contrasts with the films in the US box office. And this is kind of the weekend box office from last weekend. So at number 10 we have the Lego Batman movie, and that's interesting. It's still holding on in there, kind of end of March, beginning of April, but I'm not surprised because it was a really good film. I saw the Lego Batman movie. I didn't have a review up for it, but I really enjoyed the Lego Batman movie. Thought it was really good fun, so I'm not surprised it's holding on in there. At number 9 we have Moulin Rouge Secret Cinema 2017, and I'm pretty sure that's just a re-release of Moulin Rouge. There at number 8 we've got Chips. I'm surprised Chips has made it into the top 10 because from what I've heard, it's not a very good film at all. I had the opportunity actually to see Chips for free at an early screening, and I thought, you know what, nah. I was like, maybe I could see it, and actually maybe it'll be like a pleasant surprise. I'm like, oh, thank God, I decided to go and see this film. I was able to see it for free, and it was actually a pleasantly surprising experience. But I was like, no, it's not going to be good. It's going to be bad. I'm not going to bother seeing that. Even though I can see it for free, I think I'll give it a pass. And it turns out I made the right choice because apparently it's supposed to be really bad. Number 7, The Lost City of Z. And I'm really glad that's pretty high on the kind of UK box office because it's a kind of small, kind of independent British film. But Lost City of Z's quite high up there actually. So I'm really happy about that. If you see my review, you know I really love Lost City of Z. And number 6 is Life. Again, I'm kind of surprised that's got quite high up on the top 10 there. We're not making the top 5. I don't think it's done that well in the US box office, but they're in at number 6. Coming in at number 5 now is Logan. I'm really glad Logan's still holding on in there. It's been out for nearly a month now, but obviously people are still going out and supporting it, and I'm really glad because it was a really great film. Number 4 is Kong Skull Island. I'm pretty surprised Kong Skull Island's that high up as well, actually. But audiences are finding it really entertaining, and I know you did enjoy the movie. I thought it was good. I didn't love the film. I didn't think it was great, but I can see why mainstream audiences are gravitating towards it and having a good time with it. My mum and sister even really liked it as well. So yeah, coming in at number 3 is Get Out, and I'm really surprised. Well, actually, I'm not too surprised because it's supposed to be a fantastic film. I have to admit, I have still not yet seen Get Out, and even though I'm not that big of a horror guy, I do actually want to go out and see this film because from what I've heard, it's more of a thriller. It's more of a kind of like social satire almost, and that's more my kind of thing. It's not as opposed to just a straight up horror. So I still want to get out and see Get Out if I can before it leaves cinemas. And at number 3, I can't believe it's still doing that well. But if it's as good as what people are saying it is, then I'm not surprised it's that high up at all. Number 2 is Power Rangers. I still have not yet seen Power Rangers. I'm probably going to see that either like Monday or Tuesday. I'm not really that interested in Power Rangers. I've kind of got like zero interest in it, to be honest with you, but I'm probably still going to go out and see it because, like, what the hell, maybe I'll end up being pleasantly surprised. Number 1 is Beauty and the Beast, and that's not that surprising actually because Power Rangers is at number 2 at 1 million. Beauty and the Beast is at number 1 with 12 million, so there's a pretty big gap there, and it seems to be crushing it at the box office. I'm not surprised. It's Disney, the diehard fans of the original animated film. A lot of people seem to be really loving the movie, and I have to admit, I actually enjoyed the film a lot more than I thought I was going to. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did, but I enjoyed the film. I don't know if it was as good as the original film. It's hard to compare them because they're completely different mediums, like animation and live action. I think they did a pretty good job, and I actually enjoyed the movie for what it was. So there we go. That's my quick overview of the top 10 films playing right now in the UK box office. Now moving on to movie news. I've got several items of movie news here, my movie news roundup. And the first is that Disney CEO Bob Iger discusses Carrie Fisher's presence in The Last Jedi. And this is very interesting, obviously, because they've said that they're not going to put a kind of CGI layer in episode 9, even though she's going to be having a big part of the story in episode 8. So it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do there. He's basically saying, when we bought Lucasfilm, we were going to make 3 films. Episodes 7, 8, 9. We had to deal with the tragedy at the end of 2016. Carrie appears throughout episode 8. We are not changing throughout episode 9. We are not changing episode 9 to deal with her passing. The performance remains as it is in episode 9. In Rogue One, we had some digital characters. We're not doing that with Carrie. And I'm feeling two minds about this because I'm really glad they're not putting CGI Princess Leia into episode 9, because there were some of the things I didn't like about Rogue One, even though those characters are only in really small parts in Rogue One, so I think it worked perfectly fine. It was still distracting, the uncanny valley. You could just tell it's not a real person. It just didn't look like real people. You could tell it was like CGI. And I'm glad they're not going that route with Princess Leia in episode 9, because that would just be awful. But at the same time, I'm really curious of how they're going to kind of write her out of it, essentially, because she's going to play a big part in episode 8, and in episode 9 she's going to be gone. So unless she dies in episode 8, but from what we've heard, apparently her story arc carries over into episode 9. So I don't know. I've got faith in them. I hope they do it in a way where it makes sense why she's suddenly not there, if you will, because obviously if she plays a really big part towards the end of episode 8 and then suddenly in episode 9 she's just gone, it's going to be a little weird, but I think they'll find a way of doing it to where it works. And the next piece of movie news I have here is that Captain America star Chris Evans opens up to continue on as the Sentinel Liberty in post-Avengers 4. And by the way, in case you're wondering, all of my movie news here, or the source is comicbookmovie.com, which is kind of like the website I'm like addicted to. And so yeah, and I'm really glad Chris Evans has come out saying this. What he said is, it's really not up to me. My contract is up. I'm not going to sit here and say no more. I think Hugh Jackman has made 47 Wolverine movies, and they somehow keep getting better. It's a character I love, and it's a factory that really knows what they're doing. The system is sound over there. They make great movies. If they weren't kicking out quality, I'd have a different opinion. But everything Marvel does seems to be cinema gold, and like I said, I love the character. The only reason it would end is because my contract is up. After Avengers 4, my contract is done. Talk to Marvel. If we engage further, I'd be open to it. I love the character. It's almost like high school. You certainly always look to senior year, and then all of a sudden senior year happens and you're like, I don't know if I'm ready to go. It's tough thinking about not playing the guy. And I love these comments from Chris Evans, because over the years he's come out in interviews saying that he just loves playing Captain America, and he just loves the fact that Marvel are consistently putting out good movies, because sometimes stars are stuck in contracts doing franchise films that are just bad movies, and they've got no choice but to keep coming back and keep kind of appearing in these films even if the films are awful. But with Chris Evans, you can tell he genuinely loves playing this character, and he loves the fact that the Marvel movies are consistently knocking it out of the park. And every time he shows up as his character, he's in a great movie. And, you know, why wouldn't you enjoy doing that? Because, you know, as you said, it's a great character, and it's great appearing in great movie after great movie over and over again. So he doesn't want to just give it up. You know, as long as they're still making good movies, as long as he can still keep playing this character, he wants to keep playing it. And I love that. Unless, of course, they kill Captain America off. I'm not sure they're going to do that or not. But it'll be great if they do bring Chris Evans back. I'm pretty sure he will come back, because he said the only reason I won't come back is if the contract doesn't get renewed. But it's going to be like a renewal of a contract. You know, what we saw with Robert Downey Jr. after Avengers. You know, they're gonna bring him back, I would imagine, because why would you let go of Chris Evans? You know, he's really coming to his own as that character. He's just become better and better. Every Captain America film we see now, he's just more kind of become that character, and it's just awesome seeing him as Captain America. So I'm pretty sure they'll bring him back, and I'm pretty sure that he'll keep making Captain America movies for as long as they want him to. So yeah, I cannot wait to see more of Chris Evans as Captain America. I just want him to keep playing it for as long as possible, because he's really great, and he enjoys playing it as well. So great all around. And next up is that Mission Impossible 6 might feature the most impressive and unbelievable sequence Tom Cruise has ever done. And this is quite a big statement, because Tom Cruise has done some pretty insane things over these Mission Impossible movies. But to say that this stunt or this sequence he's training for in the new Mission Impossible movie is the most impressive and unbelievable sequence he's ever done, I'm getting really excited for this now, because I love the Mission Impossible movies, because not only are they really good movies, like ever since J.J. Abrams kind of re-energized it with Mission Impossible 3, we've been getting consistently great Mission Impossible movies. Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation. I'm really looking forward to this 6th entry in the series. Obviously, Christopher McQuarrie's coming back after he directed Rogue Nation, which I think is really great, even though I did like the idea of every film having a different director. But, you know, if you're going to bring, you know, a director back, you know, bring the guy back from the last one, because they did a really great job with that. And Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie have worked together many times before. So yeah, I think this is going to be a really great movie. Obviously, we don't really know much about it, but to say that this is going to be like a massive, insanely kind of impressive stunt, I cannot wait. Or a sequence, really, because everyone talks about that plane stunt in the first film, but the real kind of impressive sequence in that film was the underwater sequence. That's the one that Tom Cruise spent months training for. He even trained so much to an extent that he could hold his breath for like 6.5 minutes underwater, and he actually did that whole entire underwater suspense sequence in Rogue Nation. I thought that was awesome, and I'd be kind of wait to see what this sequence is going to be. I'm sure he's going to pull it off. I mean, every single time we hear about him doing some crazy insane stunt like climbing the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, and then we see it in the film and we're like, oh my god. And I just love Tom Cruise. You know, not everyone loves him, but I think he's amazing, and the fact that he's always willing to do his own stunts, because he wants the best experience possible for the movie-going audience. He wants them to see the actor actually doing it themselves, actually putting themselves in danger, and we actually get even more kind of entertained watching the film, because we can tell it's actually him, and he's always doing it for the fans. He's always putting himself out there, and he's an adrenaline junkie, and he just loves doing this stuff, hanging off of a plane, all this insane things he's doing. And I cannot wait to see what this sequence is going to be now, because to say it's the most impressive and unbelievable sequence he's ever done, I mean, obviously they're kind of hyping it up a bit, but still, I cannot wait to see what this is going to be. And obviously the news that Henry Cavill is going to be part of the cast as well. I'm kind of hoping Henry Cavill's the villain. I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm pretty sure he's just going to be a good guy on the team. He may be replacing Jeremy Renner, because I'm not sure if scheduling is going to work out for Jeremy Renner to appear. But again, I'm really looking forward to seeing Mission Impossible 6 whenever it does come out. And next up is that reportedly there is a Venom movie in the works at Sony, and it's going to be the start of an R-rated launch for Sony's own kind of cinematic universe, if you will. And they're going to have kind of like a sci-fi horror vibe. And I'm in two minds about this, because it'll be really cool to see a Venom movie, and it'll be really cool for them to take it in a direction of a kind of an R-rated sci-fi horror, almost like Life that came out recently. You know, that would be pretty cool to see. But then the fact that Sony's kind of reportedly working on this separately from Marvel Studios, and they want to build their own cinematic universe around these side characters that are completely not related to Spider-Man, even though they are related to Spider-Man, but yet they're going to be in their own separate cinematic universe. I don't really know what to make of this, because I was kind of on board with it before the Spider-Man deal with Marvel, when they were planning on doing Sinister Six and all this kind of stuff. I was like, okay, let's see them take some risk and do some cool movies here. But now that they've made this Spider-Man deal with Marvel, they seem to just be going ahead with what the plan was originally, in that they're going to do these movies featuring these kind of other characters. I'm like, but now it doesn't make sense, because you made this deal with Marvel. Spider-Man's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but yet you're still going to go ahead and make these other movies with these other characters that aren't going to be featuring Spider-Man. That just makes no sense to me. Why'd you do that? Why wouldn't you just make another deal with Marvel? I mean, I'm wrong here, but when they made that deal with Marvel, I thought the deal was that they had Spider-Man and all the Spider-Man characters, all the characters that came under the Spider-Man umbrella. But obviously not. Obviously it was just for the character of Spider-Man. But it couldn't be just for Spider-Man, because Vulture's in this movie. We're getting some other villains as well. So I'm not really sure what's going on here, if it's going to be connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe or not. And if it isn't, I just don't understand why you move ahead with this. Because it would be cool to see a Venom movie, but to see these kind of Spider-Man movies with these other Spider-Man characters, but they're not related to Spider-Man from the MCU, and they don't have Spider-Man in them, it doesn't really seem to make any sense to me. So I don't know, it could work out, it could be really cool, but I would much prefer kind of some Spider-Man spin-off movies actually set in the MCU with this MCU Spider-Man now, who's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. To do them separately, I'm not sure if that's going to really work out or not. And next up, we've got our first look here at Alicia Vikander as Lara Croft in Tomb Raider. And I'm not the biggest fan of the Angelina Jolie movies, they're perfectly fine kind of guilty pleasure films, but I'm a fan of Tomb Raider as a property, and these pictures get me even more excited, because I never even thought about Alicia Vikander for the role, and then when they announced it, I'm like, actually that's a pretty good casting now. I think that could turn out really cool. Now that I've seen these images, it looks great. I mean, she looks straight out of the Lara Croft video games, and the Angelina Jolie movies were fun for what they were, but this looks so much more like kind of proper classic Lara Croft Tomb Raider. Like I said, it looks pretty much exactly like Lara Croft in the video games, brought to life in live action. And obviously Alicia Vikander is a great actress, and to see her in this, I think is going to be really cool. I'm really loving the look of these pictures. It literally looks, pretty much just like the video game, and I think she's going to knock it out of the park. I just hope the film itself is really good as well. So really looking forward to seeing Tomb Raider whenever that lands. And lastly, we've got, and possibly my favourite piece of movie news that dropped this past week. Just the other day we heard that a Batgirl movie has been announced with the Avengers director Joss Whedon at the helm. And this really excites me. It's kind of like, I kind of feel in two minds about it, because DC are just announcing new movies left, right and centre every 2 seconds. Oh, Nightwing movie, Shazam, Batgirl. I don't know what they're doing. Have they got a plan? Have they got a new plan here? Or is the new plan just announce whatever? Because that seemed to be the plan before. We're just announcing new movies every 2 seconds, and they just seem to still be doing that. Are these actually connected? Is this actually part of a larger plan for a cinematic universe? Because it just seems like every other day they're announcing a new movie featuring a new kind of supporting character. I don't know what they're doing. I thought they were going to be focusing now on their main characters and the main movies in the main storyline, but they just seem to be announcing new things every 2 seconds. We've got Gotham City Sirens, Nightwing, Batgirl. I don't know what the hell is going on. However, even though I'm not that interested in a Batgirl movie, you say Batgirl written and directed by Joss Whedon, that instantly makes it one of my most anticipated comic book movies ever. Oh my god, I'm a massive Joss Whedon fan, and to see him back directing a comic book movie, doing a DC movie, doing a Batgirl film, I want to see that. Joss Whedon doing Batgirl, hell yes, I want to see that movie. Forget everything else, let's make that. I want to see that. Let Joss Whedon do his thing with Batgirl. That'd be so awesome. I remember a while back, Joss Whedon saying, I may get back into comic book movies. He likes the idea of doing a DC movie. He was always love to have done something like Batman. And then he was even working on a comic that was Victorian female Batman. And this basically is the actually proper kind of female supporting Batman character. It's basically the female version of Batman, and now Joss Whedon's going to be doing it. A Joss Whedon Batgirl movie. I don't really know anything about this film or at all, but the fact that we're going to get a Batgirl movie potentially directed and written by Joss Whedon, I just really want to see that. So I am all for this. We haven't got that much information, but if this does end up happening, the deal is closed and Joss Whedon is announced as the writer and director of a Batgirl movie, then I am going to be so unbelievably excited because I just really want to see that. Now going finally into movie trailers before I wrap things up here, and I had to talk about movie trailers because we got 3 big trailers that dropped this past week. There were some other trailers as well, but as far as the main ones that most interest me, first of course the trailer for Justice League. We got that preview at Comic-Con last year. That wasn't really a kind of proper trailer, it was just snippets of little clips and things here and there, and I couldn't really get into that because it wasn't like a proper trailer. Now we have the first official full-length trailer released for Justice League, and I actually really like this trailer. It does get my hopes up a bit because, you know, I did like Batman v Superman, and I even enjoyed Suicide Squad for what it was, but I do have some doubts and reservations still with Justice League. It's still Zack Snyder, and I'm a fan of Zack Snyder, but I'm just worried it's going to have the same kind of problems and issues that Batman v Superman did. But that being said, it seems that they are kind of course correcting, they are kind of righting the ship, and this trailer looks like a lot of fun. Like it does look like it's going to be really good, fun entertainment, if nothing else. So even if it's not the greatest film, I think it'll still be fun, and I'm gonna love it no matter what, because I'm a big fan of comic movies and superheroes and DC heroes, and I just can't believe we're finally getting a Justice League movie, and I can't wait to see it come to fruition on screen. I don't know if it's going to be the most amazing film, and the thing is, it doesn't need to be spectacular. Like, I'm not asking for this to be like an amazing film. I just want it to be good, that's all. I just want this movie to be good, and as long as it's a good movie, then I'm going to absolutely love it. It's going to be so great, so I'm looking forward to Justice League. And next up, we've got a new trailer released for Spider-Man Homecoming. This is the second trailer, and everyone seems to be it seems to be blowing up online, like, oh my god, you showed way too much, you kind of just showed the entire film. And even though that wasn't my initial reaction after seeing the trailer, I kind of agree with that. I mean, it obviously doesn't show the entire film, there's obviously lots that we don't know. But my problem with this trailer is not that we really got a sense of the whole film, even though it did feel like a condensed kind of overview of the entire film from beginning to end. I'm not sure if that's the case or not, but it did feel like it was just going through the whole film, beat by beat, scene by scene almost. My kind of biggest problem with it is that ferry boat bit in the middle of the trailer, that looks awesome, but they showed too much of that. Like, usually in trailers you get snippets of scenes. In this trailer we almost got like a minute long clip from the scene. Like, we got like the kind of beat by beat stages of that scene. We got the beginning of the scene, we got the middle of the scene, and we got the end of the scene. Like, we saw how the ferryboat scene happens, we saw what happens during the ferryboat scene, and then we see the end of the ferryboat scene. So I'm like, why did they just spoil that entire sequence? And I'm pretty sure that's it in its entirety. We just saw like a condensed version of that entire set piece. I'm like, why would you do that? I mean, it was cool to see that Iron Man, and I love that exchange between Iron Man and Spider-Man. Like, if you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it. And oh my god, I love that, because it really kind of harkens back to Tony's arc in Iron Man 3, in which he learned that same lesson. Is it the suit that makes the man, or the man that makes the suit? And I'm looking forward to the exchange between Peter and Tony, their relationship in the film, even though I kind of did feel like they kept bringing Iron Man back in every 2 seconds. And I get it, you know, if they show Iron Man, the film is probably going to make a lot more money at the box office. He's a very kind of bankable kind of movie character now, and of course Robert Downey Jr. in that role, and they're kind of bashing it over our heads. Remember, this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you know, Iron Man, Captain America. But I did like the trailer, and I do like the fact that Iron Man's playing a part in this film. Did they show too much? Yeah, maybe. We can't really decide for that. We can't really know for sure until we've actually seen the film. It did feel like there were some scenes that were shown in the film where they showed too much of those kind of specific scenes, but I'm looking forward to this. It looks like it's going to be really great. So yeah. And of course, just recently we got the new trailer for War for the Planet of the Apes, the second trailer here. I really love the first trailer, and War for the Planet of the Apes is like my third most anticipated movie of this year. Number 1 being Blade Runner, number 2 being Logan, which was awesome, we've already had now, and number 3 being War for the Planet of the Apes. I love Planet of the Apes. It's probably one of my favourite franchises. I mean, the original Planet of the Apes is hands down one of my favourite films of all time. I think one of the best films of all time, one of the best science fiction films ever made. I think it still holds up 50 years later. It's one of my personal favourite films of all time. And, you know, the sequels, not really that great. But I love these new movies. I think Rise of the Apes was really great. A lot of people say that they were surprised by that. I thought it was going to be good, and it was good. But then Dawn of Planet of the Apes was even better for me. And even though that didn't blow me away initially straight off the bat, I loved it the first time I saw it. And it's one of those films where every time I've gone back and rewatched it, I haven't seen it in quite a while, but every time I've rewatched the film, I've liked it even more. And I think, for me personally, it's one of the best blockbusters of the decade. I think Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is absolutely fantastic. It just took what was set up and established in that first Rise and just elevated it to a whole new level. It was deeper, it was darker, it was almost like the Dark Knight of Apes kind of thing, the Apes version of the Dark Knight, or the Apes version of Empire Strikes Back, whatever you will. It's really cool to see now the kind of culmination of all that in war, and it really looks like in this trailer it's going to be just a true epic war movie, and I cannot wait, because Rise was kind of at the beginning of it, the origins. Dawn was where things were starting to go a bit wrong in it with the combat, but it wasn't like an all-out war yet. They were kind of, it was more of that kind of the dramatic kind of middle chapter. And now here we're going to full-on action-packed climax, but it looks like it's still going to have that emotion and the character and the drama and the depth and everything from that the last movies had. And I cannot wait to see this. If it's anywhere near as good as the trailer makes it out to be, I think it's going to be so good. I cannot wait to check this movie out. So it's one of my most anticipated movies of the year. So War for the Planet of the Apes. And finally, wrapping this up now, I've just got this week in review. So obviously I can't talk about films that have just landed today because they've only just come out. But as far as the past week, in review, coming in at the bottom of the pile for me at number 5 is Life. Life, if you see my review, I wasn't a big fan. I think it was kind of underwhelming for me. It was a bit disappointing. It's a shame because it was a film that I was looking forward to seeing, but it just turned out to be one of the most unoriginal, uninspired genre movies so far this year. Like I was hoping from when I watched the trailers that it would have something kind of cool, unique or different up its sleeve, but then I watched the movie and I'm like, no, it offered nothing new or cool or different. It's like, what warranted its existence? Like, it didn't do anything new or cool or different. It's like, I've seen this a million times before and way better than this as well. So I wasn't a big fan of Life. Coming in at number 4, this is a film that's been out for a few weeks now. I've got Kong Skull Island, still playing in cinemas. I actually enjoyed Kong for what it was. I don't think it was a great film, but I think it was a if you take it as a big, fun, silly, kind of B-rate monster movie, I think it's a really good time. So Kong there at number 4. Coming in number 3, we've got Beauty and the Beast. I actually enjoyed Beauty and the Beast. I thought it was a really good film. I don't think it was like flat out amazing or anything, but I did enjoy it for what it was, and it reminded me what I love so much about the original. I've since gone back and watched the original, and I actually really like that original animated film. I haven't seen it. It's the first time I watched it in quite a long time. When I watched the live action movie, I'd forgotten so much, but I like Beauty and the Beast. It's not one of my personal favourite Disney films. I'm going off a bit of a tangent here, but the way I see it is that I think Beauty and the Beast, the original, it's not one of the best Disney films for me, but it's one of the best Disney musicals, without a doubt. And Belle was always my favourite Disney princess, so yeah, I've got kind of a soft spot for it. And I actually like the live action movie. It did have some problems. There was some kind of I had some issues with it, but on the most part, I think it was a good film. Coming in at number 2, I have Logan. Obviously, it's been out for like almost a month now, but I think it's just so great, and one of the best film of the year for me so far. And at number 1, my film of the week, just edging out Logan. I might like Logan more, but I'm going to give this one my kind of film of the week, if you will, and it is The Lost City of Z. This is my choice for people to go and see. I don't think it's playing in the US right now. I think it comes out in America like April, but it's out right now in the UK, and I thought The Lost City of Z was fantastic. I'll go into it more in depth in my film review for The Lost City of Z, so if you want to know more about what I actually think about the film, then be sure to go and check out that review. So yeah, my film of the week is Lost City of Z. That would be my recommendation to see in the cinemas. And if you're in the US, then I'll probably say Trainspotting 2, if that's playing near you, and if not, then maybe Beauty and the Beast. Or Logan, obviously, if we're talking about, not this past week, but Logan, that will be my number 2, but Lost City's Dead, my film of the week. And there we have it, that wraps up this instalment of the Friday Film Show. What are your thoughts on this past week in movies? Any of the kind of movie news stories or trailers or films that popped out to you the most? What did you enjoy the most from this past week? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, if you like this and haven't already, be sure to click subscribe to see more. But for now, I've been David O'Sullivan. I'll see you next time.